Welcome back to the channel and thanks for joining me. As promised, this will be the fourth installment in the series, building your dream house in Jamaica. Now, what we are going to talk about today is foundation. Now, the foundation is essential for the rigidity and structural integrity of your house. You need to understand the soil structure and how it influences the extent of the depth of your foundation. So, for example, in most of the cases, you will have to build pillars if you have an infill site, or if the site is very soft. On the other hand, for most places that you'll have to dig, your trench should only be about 3 to 4 feet deep, and it doesn't need to be more than 2 feet wide. Of course, if you're going to have more than a single story, if your structure will be more than a single story, then you will also need to have a proper footing under each column. You will be able to get away without footing under your column if it's a single story, but the prevailing wisdom, however, is that if your structure is small to begin with and you feel that in the future you may in fact extend it up, then it's better to be safe than sorry. So you may want to extend your footing under your columns just to be on the safe side. In a case where you have quite soft soil and there is a possibility of erosion, for example, if your building site is on an extreme slope, then your footing will need to be extended for quite some distance down to simply find some way to anchor the lower side of your building. If your site is fairly level but the soil is also still soft, then your footing should extend outwards on either side of your foundation by no less than 1.5 feet on all sides, and extend another 2 feet down, just so your foundation is firmly anchored in the ground. Now, with digging your foundation, you should do a site survey beforehand and take a soil sample. That will determine the sort of equipment and machinery that you will need to dig your trench to lay your foundation. Example, it may be rocky, and so you may need a jackhammer, or you may need a front end loader or some mechanical equipment, or the soil may consist of a lot of loose stones, at which point it just may be more cost effective for you to simply rent a mechanical digger. And of course, a mechanical digger is going to be far quicker and in most instances far more accurate. And you do want accurate trenches. Accurate trenches make it easier for you to box your foundation, and when you box your foundation you tend to use a whole lot less materials because you do not waste material filling out parts of the trenches that are way too wide, and you can control the depth of the foundation. Thickness of the foundation can be easily controlled that way. Now, with all that being said, the laying out of your foundation is arguably the most important part of the entire foundation job, because if your foundation is not properly laid out, then your rooms will not be square, and of course your engineering plan, your drawing, your architectural drawing will not fit what was in fact laid out. So you need to have your foundation accurately laid out, and that calls for a certain amount of expertise. So while my recommendation would always be to get a professional to do this job, somebody who has a lot of experience doing this, who has a proven track record, it is not impossible for an amateur to figure out some basic tricks of the trade and to lay out a proper foundation, especially if all your corners are going to be right angles and there are no compound corners in your house. But even so, if you have some of those semicircular sections on your house, that's actually not very hard to do either. In terms of laying your foundation, the most important part of laying out any foundation will be to get your 90-degree corners accurately directly translated onto your site. And there are some simple, very, very simple tricks of the trade that anyone can learn. And modern equipment are also available. Things like laser levels and things of that nature. Of course, there is the old tried and true 4-5-6 method that has been used for centuries by architects from all walks of life. I have not delved into this subject in any detail. The idea of what I do is simply to give you an overview and a basic idea of what is needed in certain areas of your building, so you can ask all the right questions and make informed decisions. Also, please head over to Hey Jamdan TV to view the rest of their footage. You saw a bit of it that I used in my presentation here. And don't forget to like and subscribe to their channel as well. They have great content and they are great people. Please do not forget to subscribe to my channel as well, and speak your mind in the comment section. Give me a thumbs up while you are at it, and as usual, thanks for watching.